This week on the Economy of Nothing, we talk about Tom Cruise and how he's just way too into himself. We talk about Netflix and how it kind of sucks. God, what else do we talk about?
We talked about a lot
we
of
talked
stuff.
about
Rick and Morty.
we, t- we talked about Rick and Morty. We talked about
It's a media
the
heavy episode.
it was a media heavy episode. We talked about Rick and
Yeah, we talked
Morty
about
and
stocks way too much. It was
stocks
kind
a
of
little bit
boring.
too much. Nvidia. We talked about
We did some insider trading, maybe. I don't know how it works.
no, we didn't. It's fine.
Or we
Nobody
did.
listens to
Keep
us.
listening.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the Economy of Nothing podcast, the place where we talk about anything, everything, and sometimes absolutely nothing. I'm your host, Mike Allen, the man, the myth, the legend, aka the original Mr. Green, aka Business Mike. Following me today is my great co-host and friend, Captain Tracy, also known as Mike Padone. Mike Padone, say hey.
Hello. Welcome back to the podcast. Like, subscribe, rate, review. Do whatever you gotta do.
EconomyofNothing.com, the only website where
EconomyOfNothing.com.
it literally is about nothing, and we don't promote to you.
Yeah.
And you get to learn about a great show that we're putting together. Actually, you could be a part of it. We're literally making it right now. All ideas of the real economy of nothing that we live in today are being translated into the Economy of Nothing cartoon show.
EconomyOfNothing@gmail.com. Let's hear from you. We haven't told people about the email in a couple weeks. I think we should mention the email.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, which brings... Wait,
oh,
are you still going?
well, I guess now that we're here and we're lost, yeah, check out some of the other stuff the last couple weeks on YouTube. I've been putting up like some old previs stuff we did. Check it out. I think this week I put up like the storyboard for like episode 1, which I hadn't put up forever. So, while we're doing this, work's still being done on the old show. It's all work on the show. Look, we're cartoon characters. Go to the YouTube and check out the visual radio.
Fun fact, listeners, when I talk in my radio voice very loud, Mike Bedot doesn't know what to do because I'm switching up the pacing on him. Anyways, we're going to go jump right into the first segment of the day, and that is checking on with everybody's favorite friend, Mike Bedot, aka Captain Tracy, speak as for which side of the coin you're going to for this. Unemployment. How's it going?
So here's a story about unemployment. Like, I had a meeting where you have to talk with them about what you're trying to do for your rejobbing or whatever they call it. And I'm talking. I talk to them for like about an hour about a bunch of different stuff. Then I get a message from them that's like, it seems pretty foreign, but they filled it in like, oh, it was good talking with you, blah blah. We've come up with, and here's an idea of a job that we've found for you. It was a lifeguarding position for $16.83 an hour.
Lifeguarding. That's it?
I assume. So here's what I thought. And it's funny because, of course, I've had these thoughts myself, and no one can give you real answers. But when I've been putting my resume together lately, I'm like, I want to put my entire work history on it because the things I did that aren't my specific job right now count as like work I did, right? Like, so for whatever reason, because it was probably the easiest job to find, and I've added to the resume at the bottom like additional work history, lifeguarding. They were like, oh look, here's a lifeguarding job. So I've been all this paperwork and all this stuff so that they can tell me that there's a lifeguarding job in Virginia Beach, which I feel is a real good use of the taxpayer money, and I assume the money I paid in the unemployment system that I'm not getting because I'm paying for these services. But great. And and you know what? The only way, and I'll probably get in trouble for saying that. There's probably some sort of clause where you're not allowed to say the unemployment system's broken. But I'll say it. The unemployment system's broken, just like every other goddamn system.
Yeah, well, let's just be clear. Like, I was a life, and Mike, I think you were a lifeguard back when you were like in high school, and I was a lifeguard for like 7 or 8 years. And
Yeah, I
I got all
lifeguarded
up to
through college too, but
yeah, I mean, I'm assuming if this is on a job posting site, this has to be like a manager of other lifeguards, because why the fuck would it be on a web post? Like, if this is just a normal lifeguarding job, like,
this is
why
no,
would
this
they ever need to put that on a job board? for real
They,
people who are getting unemployment.
it seems crazy, right? This is like supposedly like the job board for like reemployment. They claim to have like all these partners and all this other kind of stuff, and like it just seems when we talk economy or nothing, it clearly seems like the bottom of the barrel, like the easiest scrapable things, right? Was like lifeguard. Here's a lifeguard. There's probably a lot of lifeguarding job. You know what I mean? There's a lot of bodies of water that need lifeguarding. There's probably
There's
and
also a lot of teenagers. Like what I'm saying is like, even if you could get that job, you literally like I mean, we're talking like 2006 to 2010 time frame.
yeah.
I was literally getting paid, I think, like either the same or like
This is what I'm
up
saying.
to
I was
$18, like
making
$3 more.
when
It's
I
crazy.
stopped lifeguarding, like after college or whatever. Like I was like a manager or whatever, but I was making more money than that. Like it's insane. And you know what's crazy about all this? It's like this isn't like a random job. Like these people have every single bit of information about me that like exists, including like past salaries and stuff. And the idea that like but like then I'm not a burden on the system if I'm a lifeguard or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. Which I guess I would be less of a burden on the system. But do we?
My thing is, it's fucked up, Mike, for them to even pay you less for a lifeguarding job that you got paid more when you
I
did it
know.
when you were a
I know.
fucking teenager.
Like
And it's
it,
living in like Virginia Beach area. Like,
and
no way that that's
and
sustainable at all.
and like well, like the funny thing, like, but then you like think about it writ large, and you're like, oh, they're paying the kids less than they were paying us as kids,
And
right?
everything costs more. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like this. I mean, I think probably, maybe I like started at like $15 or something like that. But like, I don't know, $15 to like $16. And this is like ocean lifeguarding. I was pool lifeguarding. That's like, first of all,
Yeah.
and I'm probably not qualified to be a beach lifeguard. I don't think I'm in good enough shape these days to be a
No,
beach
you,
lifeguard.
dude, beach lifeguard is like top tier lifeguard. And like,
Yeah.
you got to be able to swim a lot. And they're supposed to be the highest paid because of like the hazard that comes with it.
Yeah.
And yet,
Watch
and
your
the highest
kids.
paid
You can
lifeguard
get
is
$60.
$15. My God.
Right? But I
You're
just
gonna hear
think
about a lot more drownings this year. That's all I could say.
it is one of these things, right? Where it's like, obviously like that's not enough money for me as like someone who's been a professional for years, right? But like, man, like that doesn't seem like a lot of money. Like in college, that didn't feel like that would have been like much. You know what I mean? Like, and that was 15,
Yeah.
20 years ago.
And I mean, after tax, that equates to like 11, $12
I know, man. They like,
an hour.
I know. Well, I mean, I guess like I don't it kind of blew my mind, right? Because so much of the stuff they're sending you is like click this and under penalty of going to the law, you got to make sure all your answers are right and all this kind of crap, right? And it's like, but this is the work product they can give me on the other end. Right? It's like, oh, have you thought
Yeah.
about being a lifeguard? I was like, yeah, 20 years ago, and I did it for
Oh,
9 years.
yeah. So, Mike, speaking of lifeguards, I want to talk about everybody's favorite lifeguard. And he wasn't per se a lifeguard, but he did guard lives. And I'd like
Hey,
to move
man,
on to our next segment, which is Mr. Green's Silver Screen Critiques.
Mr. Green, silver screen. Can we?
Captain, what are you doing here? I thought you went home.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay. I don't think. Do we do? I always get very confused when we jump right
I'm
into
gonna
it, and then you.
start it again. I'm gonna start it again. Assume Silver Screen Critiques is I go into Mr. Green's character, you go into Captain's character.
Okay. All
All
right.
right?
All right. So I do think it should be established that then we're
Yeah.
watching these movies in the distant future from when they've come out. And the captain is a man from the time in which those movies are. And Mr.
Yeah.
Green is a space alien that they're all kind of this, they don't have any context to him. He's just
Yes.
watching a
And
movie.
I'm gonna tell you that this movie is so new that I just saw it today that you'd be able to play the trailer and not get busted for it because it'd probably be free marketing. So
Oh,
Just
so
know that.
the captain might have been flung into the distant future before this movie had come out. He might not have seen it.
Yes. Okay. So restart the segment. Mr. Green's Silver Screen Critiques. I just wanted to peruse through some movies tonight, and I ran across this trailer for Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, which I
Wait, didn't
had
that come
no
out already?
idea. It came out like I didn't know it was even being made. Like, I just saw a trailer, and I'm like, is this good? It might be good, only because, and then I was like, why are these movies only good? And then I realized this is like the eighth one, and the Final Reckoning certainly signifies it'll be the final, but I don't think it will.
Well, the other one
But
was called part. The previous one was called uh,
it's
uh,
dead reckoning.
Part One, and then it didn't do very well. So they in the box office. So then this is the same. This is Part Two, but then they changed it, so now this is called something else. But so like, yeah. Anyway,
Dude, I checked out after Henry Cavill one or whatever. But the point is, the
what
one
did
thing
it
I can say
before?
about Tom Cruise at this point, the guy just seems like two things. Like he wants you to see how cool he is, to disprove how small his penis is, probably. Um, I mean, I get it. You're an adrenaline junkie, right? Like, but at a certain point, like you don't have to do all your stunts. And I think you've reached the tipping point of where you doing your own stunts has an appeal or a draw
I mean,
anymore. Now it just feels like you're showing off. Like every movie has to have a scene of him sprinting now.
it's
Like
well, like
it's just I don't know.
it's
It's a
so good.
cocky.
It's I don't know. I want to say stunt casting because that would be a funny way to say it. But like it is, it's like I don't know, man. Tom Cruise doing a stunt is 3D movies, right? It's not anything. Like everyone's like,
Yeah.
oh, like people like it's like when people are like, you gotta see Avatar. I was like, I didn't like Avatar. Like, yeah, no, but the 3D was really good. I'm like, that's fake. That's not a thing, right? Like Tom Cruise, like, oh man, but you gotta see Tom Cruise hold his breath. I really don't. And also,
Yeah.
the
So
other
yeah.
thing about these movies that I take so much umbrage with is that like they fucking don't look good. Like he does the stunt and then they like cover it up with a bunch of like CGI bullshit. And then he goes on the Today Show and it's like, we do everything for real. And I'm like,
Not everything.
for whatever that means, but like you make it look fake. You're doing the opposite of movie. Movie make look real. You make
Yeah.
look fake. Like
So
you watch the video of him jumping that motorcycle off that ramp on that cliff, and it's fucking cool. Like I don't like Tom Cruise, but it's a cool thing to do, and he's
yeah,
cooler than me for having done
that
it.
was
In the movie, it looks fucking stupid.
yeah, it does kind of look stupid. The only thing
Because they
that looked cool
replace
is
all
when he
the
hung.
real stuff. They replace the sky, they replace the ground, they replace everything but Tom Cruise. So it's just a JPEG
That
of Tom Cruise flying through a CGI set. And they're like, well, it's a real Tom Cruise. I'm like, if you fucking say so. I don't think he's a real person. So that's a
I
weird
would
thing
have
to keep it
I
the
would
only
have
real thing in
rather
your shot.
my thing is like when they did that ramp scene, it's for the fifth one, I think, with Henry Cavill, which was a good one. It was the last good one I thought. But he went up if they would have just filmed it from the angle of like the cliffside facing and then showing him like going off,
Like
that would have
this is my
that's called movie magic, and that's what everybody's
this is my
losing.
real
Yeah.
problem is these are poorly made movies, right? Is that like Tom Cruise holds his breath for 7 minutes, but there's 95 cuts. So why did you film it? Like these are vanity projects by a guy who sucks. Like do like in a way that like
Yeah. So
is
that's what I was gonna say. Like at this point, after that one, and I think I remember everyone being like way into Henry Cavill's character in that one
yeah.
to the
Well,
point where it
that's
like
probably
outshine.
some
I think it
Snyderverse
out.
shit.
I know, but I think it like outshined Tom at the time, and
Mhm.
like like normally you would hear a lot from him. He didn't say anything, but the point is, he's so like think about this, okay? You've been asked to be in a Tom Cruise movie or a Mission Impossible movie, and you're his like I don't know, co-host or like partner or, like love interest. And you got to like do all these stunts along with him is what he's going to want you to do. And naturally, some people are going to get pressured into that and make mistakes, and other people are going to be like, no, that's fucking crazy. And what happens is that whatever happens, all the money on every stunt just gets pushed on Tom Cruise because he wants to do it. And whether, he's just shoving in these stunts where it doesn't make sense in the story at this point, just so
Well,
he can have it
well,
in
like
and
you
like
could,
show off and
yes,
do it.
yes,
He's become the James Cameron.
dude.
He's the
I'm
stuntman version of
so
James
happy.
Cameron.
I'm so happy you said like Mr. Green or whatever, whatever's happening. Like I was sitting here and be like, Mike, this is your James Cameron thought, and then you had your
Yeah.
James Cameron. Yeah, no, like it's because James Cameron wants to go underwater, right? It's because Tom Cruise likes planes. He just wants to like fly planes. So it's like in this one, he hangs on the sides of a biplane, and it's like Tom Cruise, do you just want to hang on the sides of planes? Also, go to space, you coward. I
Yeah,
keep
at this
hearing
point,
go
I
to
mean,
go
you
to
got
space, you coward.
Scientology. You would
Like
have thought Scientology would have been the first to space, not fucking Elon or Bezos.
I keep hearing, I've been hearing for years. Oh, Tom Cruise is gonna like it's like the Fast and the Furious movies. Like this is next Fast and the Furious movie. They're gonna go to space. It's Tom Cruise is about to make a movie. He's gonna film it in the International Space Station or something, right? Do it. Go do it. Shut up and do it. Like I'm so oh, what's Tom Cruise gonna do? Like hang on the side of I already saw Tom Cruise hang on the side of a plane. That was the big stunt like 4 movies ago.
Yeah, and honestly, like if you're gonna be a dude that makes everybody come to your movies to watch your stunts, like Evil Knievel stepped it up until he died.
That's what
Like
this is what I mean. Is
it,
like Tom Cruise
yeah,
is a circus act, right?
yeah.
Like he's an overpaid clown. Or like do you know what I mean? Like
Dude,
it's
it's gonna be
like
hilarious if he sees this one day and it like pushes him to actually like push the boundary and he does die. Like we're like, do we kill Tom Cruise?
but you do you know what I mean? There's
Totally
no
joking.
yeah, I couldn't like frankly I couldn't care. But like no offense, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, if you're listening to this, kill yourself. Um, why not? Like I don't
Why
like
not?
imagine write that news story, someone. Um, no, but like
Could you imagine? That would be like South Park when he's like, "You,
like I've said forever,
hold on, Heather."
we need someone to sue us. It's the only way.
I think the only way to get famous is just through like really bad publicity or really good publicity.
That's what's well,
Like you know how many times like the Paul brothers or whatever like
but you
were
have to pay.
almost canceled.
Yeah, but
Like
you have to pay. Like, I think you have to pay for like really good publicity. Do you know what I mean? Like, really, like
oh yeah, you got to have an
what
agent for
you
sure.
have to you have to have like something like quasi. Like, it can't be super bad, right? Though at this point, as I think about it, like, what could you do in public? Like, the real problem is, could you make a big enough scene in public, right? There's nothing bad enough you could do that couldn't eventually, like even if you had to go do a little jail time, like you'd get like a Twitter show out of it or something, right? Like
Yes.
you or, like, but like, like if you just can't was like, hey man, I'm punch guy on the street guy, and you just like start punching people on the street on YouTube, like
I'm
that's not
punch guy on
enough.
the street guy. I'm punch
No,
guy on the street guy. Can that
there
be
you
my new
go.
superhero name?
Yes, I just wrote an episode of I wrote a Rick and Morty bit. But the hang on, punch a guy on the street guy like to punch guys on the street. That's so someone said the other day, they said I was listening to them, they went, Rick and Morty, that show people used to talk about. Which I don't know if that's I don't
Yeah,
know if that's just I'm out of a
so
different circle or whatever, but
Rick and Morty, I still follow it. I think what,
I mean for me it's
you
an
know,
HBO Max thing, right? Like I
yeah, but for me, it's, I still like it. I can tell everybody's like, I can't even tell the voice difference. But if like if you've watched Solar Opposites and you've also watched the first 4 seasons of Rick and Morty, there's definitely a character like switching that happens on Rick. That like you don't see it at first, but you see like it's basically he whenever he like completes his goal, which I think that's where who's the creator of the show that did Community?
Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon. And Dan Harmon writes, he's a great writer, and I think everything he writes is great. But like, it definitely felt like Dan Harmon took over all creative control because like he immediately steered the ship to just like, let's just solve all Rick's problems so then we don't have to fucking keep on this like
When
long narrative of
well,
this
like
guy's struggle, you
what's
know?
very interesting about the voice shifts, well, like that season where they shifted was weird, right? But like a lot of it is like they kind of were just doing that already, right? Like that final season ends with like them like kind of like wrapping some of that stuff up. But I think the weirdest thing, the thing that makes it weird for me that first season was like there were then like a bunch of episodes that weren't, for the lack of a better term, classic Rick and Morty adventures. So like the first episode, he switches bodies and stuff, and so it's like weird voices. So the whole time you're like, I couldn't grapple with it the entire time in a way that made it weirder than if you had to sit with it. So I was wondering if maybe having to
Yeah.
sit with it
So
more might have like,
what it does, that's what I mean. Like what he basically, whenever Justin Roiland had to leave the show for whatever reason, it felt like all the pushback that Dan Harmon was getting that made the show really deep was probably Justin Harmon's character. Like trying to be like, no, that's not what it's about. But like the second he's gone, it's like you could tell that Dan Harmon just in the writing was like, we'll stay true to it, but then like it slowly fell off because it just became about solving Rick's like problems very quickly so that he could do something more zany, you know?
that is interesting because I always like kind of assumed that like it had like because of like having watched Community, like I assumed that like the existential dread that like runs through like Rick's character in the show altogether is a Dan Harmon piece, and that the well, obviously the
Yes.
burps and farts and stuff were like uh Justin Roiland or whatever.
So
Um,
no, so I watched some behind the scenes stuff because he would have to get drunk to do Rick and Morty, and you have to like take shots of tequila. And it would get like real dark and shit. And so like a lot of the improv stuff that made the show
okay.
funny was like his dark thoughts. That wasn't that wasn't Dan. And there's like Dan being like just frustrating this shit, being like you can't come in drunk. And he's like this is how I'd fucking do the characters and shit. And like basically like
Well,
being
that
like fuck
explains a
you and
lot.
yeah, but the one thing I will give Dan Harmon credit for Rick and Morty is that once you can sit with that piece that it's going to be zany, I feel like that really opened the door to develop, Jerry and Summer and the mom more. Whereas but it happens so quick on a dime that you don't
Yeah.
realize it's happening that it doesn't feel like Rick and Morty. But if you stay with it, you realize that like, oh, now that Rick's problems are solved, it's like, but now he has to help his family solve their problems,
Yeah,
you know?
and I think that that's like for the long term health of the of a show.
I think
That's
it's good
like
for that. Yeah.
yeah, like I think like people talk about like The Simpsons, and they're like, well, it used to be about like how it's like changed, and like probably like they say the other stuff. Like people say it about South Park, how South Park was like mostly about the kids and started being about Randy for a while or whatever, and they like
Yeah.
well, and it's one of those things where like I guess if you want to keep creatives involved, right? I think you have to do that, right? I don't know, like
Can I
how
tell you
many
what I think it is?
what?
I think, and I mean, I know it's happened throughout time, but I think since It's Always Sunny season 4, whenever Frank Reynolds as a character comes on and becomes this billionaire that wants to live on the fringe, and it opened up a Kramer-esque character in a way TV hasn't seen it before. It's like, well, what if there was a Kramer guy that was just crazy, but he also was just like a multi-billionaire? That opens up everything to all these kind of hijinks that you wouldn't normally see on any given show. So I think it's twofold. Where we used to always say that's like, oh, in Marvel movies, there's always a reason Thor or like the Hulk can't help; they're off planet or some
Yeah.
bullshit. I think the counter to that now is the zany, super smart guy that can do anything, or the
Right.
billionaire
Yeah, I
fucking
think
crazy
there's
guy. You know,
because there's a yeah, because there's a thing in I guess if like, you're writing a narrative, right? Like in like, I don't know, Cheers or whatever. At a certain point,
Yeah.
they're like out of like stories to tell in like Cheers, and they have to like come up with like places to go. But if you can develop like a Frank Reynolds or like a Rick or whatever, they like allow like the stories to remain in their like, I don't know, economic place or whatever. Like they're a family that has to go to work or whatever. But every now and then their uncle can come and they go to another dimension, right? Because like, or and it's the only way to like kind of like, it's because these shows have so much trouble maintaining, I don't know, some sort of like framework, I guess, because you don't want to become too samey, but you don't want to like, but people don't want you to change that much. As like, you know,
Yeah. But
Rick and
so
Morty
here's to
Thrive
my
Fine.
point for the longevity of the cartoon show you're making, Mike, The
Yeah,
Economy of Nothing. I think we just made our case in point that we need our own Rick or Frank character in the show. I don't know who that is or what it is, but I mean, it's worth thinking about. Listeners out there, if you got any ideas, you've been checking out
well,
theeconomyofnothing.com, looking at characters, maybe you want to throw in some input or something, feel
it
free.
is. This is an interesting idea, right? And though I one of the things I think the Economy of Nothing cartoon like has though is that like the universe is ridiculous, so it just allows for like
Yeah.
them to like be in like crazier places. But I do think that like a chaotic element is well, like we've talked about it before. We'll let the listeners decide. We don't need to
We
talk
don't.
about
Well,
it.
they don't.
But
Yeah, they don't have to be on the crew. Maybe they can just be a character on the show that
well,
like
I mean, Mr.
can.
Green can become
Yeah,
more depraved. Like I don't, you know, you
I
have
might be that
you
character.
are
I
the
might be
original
that
Mr. Green.
character.
Like there, there could be, there is a version of like the Green Captain dynamic that is like if you go depending on which canonicity you believe in whether or not Green is or isn't a robot, like let's say he is like the secret like super robot or whatever, then there is a
Mhm.
world where like he can just like solve all of the problems right away, but the captain needs to like get him to agree to just lift up the
Yeah,
big crate or whatever, right? Or like, but because the things are so trivial to him, he doesn't have to take them as seriously as the other people do. You know what I mean? Because like at the end of the day, he could solve the problem with his like messiah powers or whatever,
yeah.
right?
So
Like,
he's just like he's like Ultron, but has to ask permission, like Jarvis.
well, I more than like I would say more than Fred. I was thinking more like have to be coaxed into doing it, right?
Yeah. What's in it? What's in it for
What's
me?
in it for Green, right? Like is
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
that's what they call him,
So
Mr. Green. Uh,
I wanted to. We're out of the man cave now. All right, go home, Captain. Peace.
all
So that segment ran a little long. But I would just like to go into Mike's, not Mike's, Mr. Green's quick stock picks. I had a conversation today with my buddies who is a day trader and he trades options. I would never do such a thing because I'm not that crazy. Um, but he's actually pretty good at it. And so
okay.
people, I sent an article from, I believe it was Bloomberg, and all the analysts had like updated their price projections on Nvidia, saying all
Oh,
like
so this is
all the
another
Macs.
NVIDIA episode.
Yeah, yeah. So like all the Macs are 200 to 240 now. So I send this over to him, and I was like, hopefully so. I just bought some more, and he goes, man, that'd be wild. It'd go on a current market run. And I always ask him to get a pulse on the market, and I'm like, well, I was like, if they miss on earnings or miss an earnings expectation, it's gonna fall like a rock. And he goes, so this is the guy who trades and looks at all the signals all the time. And he's been right a lot. And you know my stance, audience. I'm bullish on Nvidia. He goes, there's no way it misses. They spend this year on hardware and well, if he spelled it
Well,
right, sorry, but basic.
this is
No,
quite the
it's
segment you
terrible.
built here.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Don't worry about it. Just go Nvidia. Sorry.
Mike, I have a
I
question.
really, at the time when I read this, it was funny, but
I don't
it
know.
didn't. It doesn't. The second go round, it's just not
I
as.
don't know anything
I
about
don't have the.
securities fraud, But are we going to be getting in trouble if you're pitching a stock that you own on a podcast? I mean,
Maybe. I don't
bearing
know.
in mind, if we were already rich, we couldn't get in trouble. But like as people
Oh
that can be
yeah, that's
made
true.
examples of,
Oh yeah, I don't know. I just think I think Nvidia's gonna hit and it's gonna go, baby.
I think.
I'm not
Well,
a financial advisor.
here's my thing. I'm not a financial advisor, so I'll probe you here. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
platonically, obviously. Um,
platonically probe me.
yeah. But like here's the thing, right? Nvidia's like the only people in the game, but like the game is running out of clock, right? There's like these graphics cards are pretty good. They're pretty power efficient, and the graphics on things aren't getting it. Like the ROI on graphics is going down, and like I don't think that like the data mining is like going to maintain the sales of this stuff forever. You know what I mean? Like
Mike, how wrong you are, buddy. No, I mean, yeah, it could go down in the short term, but I think long term is going up. But what I'm saying is
well,
they're
like what
they're
I'm
like
asking.
they're the leading in all the data centers. Like they need more data centers. They're leading it all. You have all the Magnificent Seven building the data centers. Hell, they're building fucking you know power plants to do this stuff, and they have to make it work. Their capex spend is like huge amount, billions.
Would you
Like
say
multi billions.
they're the name in the game? Who's competing with them there? What was they're like?
Taiwan Semiconductors their closest competition, but they
Okay.
kind of do a different thing. But I mean,
And they don't
yeah,
have
they
the
say
name. They
that.
don't have a name though. You know what I mean? No one knows Taiwan Semiconductors.
Here's the reality. Here's why Nvidia hits so hard. One, it's got every bullish narrative. They're a part of every bullish narrative. They're a part of
Right.
quantum. They're a part of AI. They're part of robotics. They're a part of autonomous driving. They're a part of
All the
gaming,
best things.
VR, AR.
They got
Um,
their fingers
God,
in
I'm trying
all
to
the
think.
good
I'm trying to
pie.
think. I'm trying to think more,
All the
and I
real
know there's
things
more.
that are good for doing.
The point is, that's where everybody wants it to go. And then their freaking brand image is the picture of the third eye above your head. Like that just appeals to millennials and younger, dude. Like they're just going for it. Oh yeah, it's associated with Bitcoin. It does all the fucking Bitcoin money. Like, dude, there's some like there's not a you'd have to knock down all these narratives
I know.
all at once, along with the earnings for
I
them to
just like.
like be
I know.
like,
I just love.
yeah,
I'm just always a big. I'm just a big fan of your like level three analytics where you're like, no. I understand this level's bad and this level, but if I think these people believe this thing about that other thing that's gonna happen. I like it.
well, dude, when I first started getting into investing, I was like looking at fundamentals and I was looking at value and I was trying to do it the old way. But after reading enough books, what you
You
realize
gotta think in
is that
depth, as they say.
no, it always changes. Like even Buffett and
Jimmy?
Charlie Munger in his book are like, not yet, Jimmy. No, they're like, oh, Graham and Dott's book, like that was what you first started reading, but back then it worked for them. Later it didn't work, and he wrote another book. And then he's like, you don't hear about that, but like the strategy always changes. And so like the strategy right now is
Fucking
fucking
whatever,
buy.
bro. Shit,
It doesn't fucking
dude.
matter. Meme stocks are a thing. Nobody knows what to buy. Nobody gives a shit about value. Like
I
people
know.
want growth. Our
Listen.
generation's screwed. They don't
Let me
want
tell you
bonds. They
about
think
the
Bitcoin's
economy
a
of nothing.
scam. I'm just saying, like,
I
so like,
know.
yeah, they will send the Magnificent
It
Seven to the
it
moon until
it
it all
is.
falls
It's
apart.
an inverse reverse like damn hedge bet. It's incredible, right? Like it's like what? Okay, when everyone realizes everything's bullshit, what's going to be the least thing that people most think isn't the least most about a bullshit, but is obviously the value that people have in a thing? And you're like, yeah, probably is. And it makes sense, right? And I think like it is one of those things where like the name value and the logo and stuff aren't bullshit. Like they're bullshit concepts, but they're
They have
like
more meaning than anything.
they're like the most. You know what I mean? Like like it's one of those things. Like, how is it like Disney is just the entertainment industry, and I understand that like they own so much of it and stuff, but just in like people's mind share, they can't like it's all these brands are now too big to fail, right? Like even if Nvidia, the current corporate structure, can't figure it out, like someone will grab that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like because it's
Yeah.
like a name and a thing, and why would you want to like fiscally, why would you want to build a new thing? Like this should be the Apt Observations podcast. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this seriously, we should be in the unrelated note like feed, right? I should have like figured out how to get back in there and and just like taken that apparatus entirely, right? Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
What are we talking about?
well, vertical integration, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay,
But,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
There's
um,
horizontal integration too. I don't fucking know. But
well,
yeah, so like the
well, it's
reality is, it the reality is it doesn't matter. So and I can prove to you it doesn't matter because right now, like, what the whole thesis on Bitcoin was that the dollar is losing its current value and that Bitcoin is a store of value. And like they already got like Tom Lee, a guy that's been right a million times or whatever. Like he's like Ethereum, and like I'm betting on Ethereum now because I know no matter what, that's the next one because it just is because nobody understands that stuff. It's
the
still all hype, and it's
well,
just
it's
gonna
what
go up again for the next
you
3 years at least.
there have to be three, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like we like in our like
Please.
collective American conscience, as long as there's three, then like it's choice, more choice than you can imagine, right? Like like everyone has like three choices of internet, right? The good one, the bad one, and theoretically like a phone tether or something, right? You know, like
Yeah.
it's like um and so I lost my place, but I had it right there. It was the rule of three, right? Say the thing you said again. This is great podcasting, Mike. You just have to keep talking.
Oh yeah, the rule of three. No, much like you go down any brand aisle in a grocery store,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
more often than not, it's a three brand strategy. And it's usually like a private label brand and then two main brands at the very least. Some categories have more or less, but generally most of them want to have three because three is the perfect amount to compete. It like counter. It's the triangle effect. It's why you can
Okay,
never actually have all three things because there's
here's
like
an I
something's always moving.
here's an idea, Mike. Talk about all that Paramount CBS shit or whatever from like a few months ago. That has me thinking three in like streaming. What Disney's trying to do is make it seem like there's three things other than them, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a play of like if right now they want HBO so bad, and HBO wants to sell so fucking bad,
I
but
thought they had them. I thought they had, or they don't have them.
well, they have
No, they
like a,
don't.
they have
It's like a
partnerships, they
partnership.
have
Yeah,
bundles, but like but no, like you know how they bought Fox, they haven't been able to
yeah,
buy, and so like I think like they're like, oh well, if we get if Paramount could get a little bit bigger, then we could buy HBO Max. It could be part of Disney, and then there could still be like Paramount and like and Peacock or whatever, right? And then and
well,
like you
yeah,
know what I mean, like
and it would give Disney a perfect fortress moat wise because you already have the wide moat for all the kids IPs and movies. Then you'd have a wide moat on all the premium adult movies, and now you have Hulu, which is all the like mostly all the TV shows everybody wants to watch anyways. Like, yeah, you've basically become what everybody wanted from TV. Because I personally believe that Netflix might be in trouble in the long run because it's become so tongue in cheek, like cheap feeling. Like you can tell that they're just like,
they
you'll watch. Their attitude is, fuck you, you'll
my
watch it. What else are you gonna watch? We haven't shown you Stranger Things yet. You'll stick around till Stranger Things
it's
comes out.
my theory
I
is that
mean,
like they'll
dude, I
never
read that
release
Millie.
it.
I just read that the actress playing 11 is like adopting a son with her like new husband or something, and you're like,
Yeah,
wow, she's already adopting a son, and they
yeah.
haven't released season 5.
Yeah,
they are dangling that carrot. The
it's the
brothers are
only, it's
the
the only
Netflix
thing.
brothers are going to Paramount. They're rumored it's gonna go. Like they're gonna go. Paramount, they got Tom Cruise Scientology money. They're gonna throw whatever to get them over there. Like Netflix is
Yeah,
cooked in the long run.
yeah,
It's all
yeah.
it's got. They had to shut down their gaming division. They've canceled on
But
everything.
it's one of those things, right? Where like, but like the name Netflix is just like it's a powerful name, right? But like I do think to your point, right? The problem Netflix is having is like if they had is that they're like making themselves trash, right? Like what you have to do in the current economy if you have the name of the brand is like to your own seeming detriment, like stand your ground that like no, we're Netflix or something, right? Like I think that like uh
The only
it's
thing I think Netflix has is the merch. Because like nobody like yes Disney sells a lot of kid like princess and stuff merch I think for like girls, but they don't really have the boy market at all. Like I mean like all I
well
see for the boy kid are like Paw Patrol, which is
I
like
saw I saw
I don't
some
know, that might be a Nick Jr. thing, but
well
I don't
I
know.
saw some very I saw some news story that like Disney's like worried now they're gonna lose more. Like Star Wars and Marvel were a play. Like you were talking about the thing Disney was talking about 10 years ago, which is that or
Yeah.
15 years ago, which is that they don't play to boys, right? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
now they bought Marvel, they bought Star Wars, and now like I think they've ran those things into the ground, and so now
They
they're
didn't do a
like
good job. They
and
made
so
it
now,
uncool.
they're getting like pitches for like man-centric movies or something, which sounds like a fucking phenomenal plan, everybody. But uh, but yeah, like right, like Disney like isn't cool. Like I understand that like it never was. We said this the other day. You said the other day you're like, oh, I miss Chris Evans Captain America, and I was like, no, you miss plain Disney Chris Evans in America.
Yeah, I mean, back when Marvel had control, like they actually cared. Now, well, it makes me think, right? Like Disney hasn't really made anything new that has caught fans' attention
No,
probably since like
Frozen.
what, like the height of the parks. I mean, yeah, okay, so like yeah, but like outside of I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think like they hit like the
No,
classics don't hit
no,
like they
they don't.
used to.
Like what I mean is that like all of Disney's success over the past 30 years is bought.
Yeah, they buy everything.
They bought Pixar, they bought Marvel,
Yeah,
they
they
bought
bought
Star Wars.
Pixar. That's why we're always going to see Toy Stories from here
Yeah,
on out.
so like if you think about like Toy Story, like if you think about like I don't know, like Moana and like and Frozen, and then like I like I guess I'm not like a Disney person. I know the zombie movies. I saw those on Disney Plus. The zombie quadrilogy. Like no, I really don't. They don't
They
seem to
got
like.
Goosebumps. Yeah, I
But
mean
like
that's
that's
the
not.
point. They
Yes,
won't make their own thing. They just have to take someone else's. Like they'll just buy IP and then remake it or make it better. Every now and then they might do a good one, but more often than not,
well,
it's just
yeah, but
not
like
good. Yeah.
it is one of those things, right? Where like the reason that like I think that like I don't know the Fantastic Four movie from like 2003 is better than the one from now, right? Even though I haven't seen the one from now, which I guess is unfair of me. But let's take another example. It doesn't really matter. Is anything that I didn't like about the 2003 one? Sure or not? Like the fact that it was being made was mostly like a work of like someone trying to like everything that was comic booky in it was someone trying to make it that way, right? Whereas like
Mm-hmm.
you watch it like you watch these movies now and every single like there's no like real like Easter eggs or anything like that, right? Like every single frame has been like re-edited like 9 times. They've removed everything, put things back in place in a way that like isn't a movie, right? It's not
Yeah.
like
So let me break in and say this. So like if we had to label Netflix, I think the term would be cheap. If we had to
Okay.
label Disney, it would be unoriginal. And if we had to label
Like
Amazon
Disney's
Prime,
back catalog, right? The fact that they're
yeah,
putting out new Star Wars movies is doesn't mean anything. It's because the original movies are there is why you're subscribed, right? If you're a Star
right.
Wars person,
It's
right?
just
Like,
it's unoriginal. Yeah.
yeah,
And like you could be original by retelling a story in a different way, by
yeah,
changing aspects and making it better. Like much like they do with the James Bond franchise. Not
yeah,
all of them, but like some of them are really good when they reinvent it. But
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah,
afraid to do that.
yeah,
My
yeah,
point is
yeah,
like
yeah,
so
yeah,
so like
yeah,
Disney's unoriginal,
yeah,
Netflix
yeah,
is,
yeah, yeah,
cheap. I would
yeah,
say Amazon
yeah,
Prime
yeah, yeah.
is I
Amazon
feel like
Prime is
that
the cheapest one.
they're
Amazon
they're
Prime feels
they're
cheaper than Netflix because you're just in
but
there, and
I have
sometimes it's like
found some
YouTube videos that stuff. Like,
yeah, so but I sometimes I do
yeah,
find some good ones on there. I don't know if that they're already made or bought. But the problem I have with
yeah,
Apple is
yeah,
Apple
yeah,
has everything.
yeah,
Apple TV has
yeah,
everything you want.
yeah,
They have new and original
yeah,
ideas,
yeah,
but because he has
yeah,
basically
yeah,
stars,
yeah,
like
yeah,
like actual
yeah,
famous people
yeah,
direct
yeah,
everything, they go
yeah,
unchecked.
yeah,
And I have a
yeah,
real problems with
yeah,
Severance
yeah,
because like
yeah,
Severance was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Season 1 was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
And then you
yeah,
find out waiting for
yeah,
season 2,
yeah,
which took
yeah,
forever by the
yeah,
way,
yeah,
that he
yeah,
didn't really have an idea for where he was even
yeah,
going.
yeah,
So it's the
yeah,
J.J.
yeah,
Abrams problem over
yeah,
there is like you
yeah,
have these
yeah,
they're
yeah,
getting
yeah,
these stars to write these things, but they're not really dedicated to it or making anything that
yeah,
actually has meaning or
yeah,
passion. And
yeah,
once you find that
yeah,
out, you're like, well, why
yeah,
am I even
yeah,
watching this? This feels so
yeah,
cheap. You're
yeah,
just going to tie
yeah.
it together whatever way you want.
Because it is cheap, Mike. Because like you have to remember, like when you watch a show that like an older television show, and like you're like, man, they had a really good premise, and then it kind of like fell apart. It's like, okay, well they had a really good premise, and like it fell apart because like after like a couple seasons, like I don't know, he's still a burned spy. What does that mean, right? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Well,
like, uh, but like the problem is like they have a premise it's only like 6 episodes, and they don't even have like a seventh episode in their brain, and they're pitching it as a TV show, which like
mhm.
inherently means they're not pitching it as a limited series. Even if they are pitching it as a limited series, they're taking the money knowing that they're going to tell you that this is season one, whether or not they're going to make another season, right? They're selling you TV and they're giving you like student films, right? Like, and it's like
Yeah.
a lot of this
Yeah.
stuff just a lot of this stuff just like looks good and like sounds good and stuff because it is very good actors and really nice cameras and great locations, right? Which is of course more than you can say for any of the Disney stuff. But like all the like there's you're on it. It's like there's two. All these projects are just a little too vain, right? It's a little too
Yeah.
everyone just like,
I
well, I'd
think
like to
what we're
try something, right? As opposed to being like,
yeah.
oh, with my power and what I like, all of this, like, I'm going to make the greatest thing I can think of. It's like, no, let me try something for $10 million, for $100 million.
Yeah.
I'd like to try something. Like, come
I
on,
think
man. Like,
I think what I think what happened is, you had Ricky Gervais at the Oscars, and whenever he kind of like roast everybody, it's like, oh fuck you, you'll go make a
yeah,
streaming show with
yeah,
Apple, and like
yeah,
literally everybody
yeah,
went and did that.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
everybody's done that, and what I don't want to hear any actors
yeah,
bitching
yeah,
anymore
yeah,
about how, oh, it's so much harder to get
yeah,
paid because
yeah,
we
yeah,
used to get a
yeah,
percentage of
yeah,
the
yeah,
DVDs or
yeah,
VHS
yeah,
sets, and now it's
yeah,
harder. It's like
yeah, yeah,
I would
yeah,
argue
yeah,
that
yeah,
no one
yeah,
would even see
yeah,
half of these
yeah,
shitty fucking
yeah,
movies
yeah,
if they weren't on the
yeah,
library
yeah,
on direct.
yeah, yeah,
There are some
yeah,
that are so god
yeah,
awful that you
yeah,
would be like,
yeah,
and it would have like
yeah.
Tom Hardy in it, and you're like,
It's
who the fuck paid Tom
yeah,
Hardy 10 million to be in this
it
shitty movie? Like, and they don't
it
have any good angles, no good like shooting scenes or anything. It's just the worst, man. And
yeah,
I'm
yeah. But like
like,
the bottom
the,
has to fall out because at a certain point, like, but like they're taking these page like that's like kind of the thing of an old like bad movie that like then no one would see, and you were like, oh, thank God, because it would hurt my like career if someone saw this bad thing. But like it
they're all
does
doing
fit
what Samuel L.
it
Jackson does.
it
He
does
just
feel
is in
like
everything.
well, not
Sorry,
what
go ahead.
it all feels like when Jason State. It feels like Jason Statham and all of these those type of people who are just cranking out movies, right? when they're just making them with no sense of like this is the good one and this is like they're just making a bunch of movies for paychecks based on the days and stuff, which again have a job, right? But then they still want the cachet, and they're still getting the cachet, which is fine. But it's my you can't be in every commercial and then want me to pay $20 to go watch you in on a big screen, right? Like it seems
Yeah, and
crazy.
I just argue that like yeah, you would Jason Statham. Jason Statham is a great example of somebody before streaming you liked a lot more than when you are watching streaming because he's literally the same character in every movie, and people go, "Oh, well, it's a Jason Statham movie. You know what you're getting." And I was like, you know, yeah, now I do, but back then I knew I was getting something good, and now
Do
I'm
you
just
want to
getting a
know what
guy
it
who's
is?
like has no passion doing these shit
Because they
films.
had because prior to this, right? You like distribution deals were tougher, right? But like if you like just know the right guy and like the story of Joel McHale hosting the Tiger King uh after show, does this make any sense to you? I'll keep
Yeah, I do that. Yeah,
okay.
I know.
So the Tiger King got really big during COVID, and then they did like a a Skype after show with Joel McHale. Joel McHale got that job because like the guy he was having like a different meeting with the guy at Netflix or something, and the guy was like, "Oh, can you just do this? Because you're Joel McHale and you're here." Like, do you know what I mean? It's like that's it, right?
Sure.
I heard a I heard a commercial like a commercial in the middle of a podcast yesterday, and it was Ryan Seacrest for Safeway. Right, Ryan
Yeah.
Seacrest here for Safeway. You go and get a turkey or something, and I'm like, I can't. Here's the thing. Again, everyone get a job, whatever, get paid, all that stuff. But like, I don't understand. Like, explain to me. It's for moms, and they like Ryan Seacrest, and now he's aged to Safeway. But no one thought about it that much, did they? I don't
I don't
know.
think people think about it that much at all. I think they just do what they think. Like they just
But
find
who
what age
thought of it? Like
demographics it
someone
appeals.
thought of it, right? They were like, we need someone to record this Safeway, like this Safeway pro, and someone thought but they didn't think Ryan Seacrest because he was they were like, oh, hey, I have Ryan Seacrest on the phone or something, right? Like this just wasn't like they didn't no one auditioned. Like like what was it? Like
Usually
how did
something
they?
like that goes because, companies want to save the most money. It's usually somebody knows somebody. It's like because it's not what you know, it's who you know. So if you know somebody that knows somebody that knows Ryan Seacrest and maybe they could help you with a favor or get you a discount,
But like
like
I
you're
don't
gonna
even
go with that.
I think that like we think that's what it is. I think they simplified it in like over there in like Hollywood and stuff like so much that it's like, oh shit. I I bet that there are people who are like Ryan Seacrest probably is in a booth every Thursday or something, right? And he just gets fucking scripts and like his managers and some other people work out like what he's gonna read and every like and he reads his top 100 show script at that time. He reads a bunch of infomercials at that time. Like he just does all that and he like leaves, right? And so I don't
So
think
it's
anyone's
probably
make
it's
like
probably this, Mike, and I'm gonna bring it back to the stock market, right? So at a certain point, right, like all you see in Hollywood is nepotism now, but every now and then a star breaks through that is at least
is
perceived to
born.
be, yeah, like is perceived to be someone new on the scene that maybe hasn't had, like they give you one every now and then. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
this guy like I feel like Adam Driver, like he was a Marine and he came out and he like somebody picked him, but I'm sure he
But
had
we're
to kiss
gonna
a lot of
find
ass to
something.
even get picked. Right? So I'm sure he had to kiss an ass or some or two
We'll
to get,
find
but
something
like
out
he
about
was he
him.
was the guy off the street that's like really good at acting,
Yeah.
right? For every Adam Driver, there is like nine nepo babies just getting a job. And because the nine nepo babies are getting hired by the same companies that have made all the money that don't want to take the risk. They're like, oh, Ethan Hawke acts. Well, he probably taught his daughter to act. Like I
Yeah.
guarantee it's like
Yeah.
just like that.
I mean, well, it's one of those things where you go like, once someone's so successful, like it's like, well, I guess you could put a rider on something that's like, if you want me to do this job, my kid has to come with me, right? But then you start thinking about it and you're like, yeah, but like someone show me the box office return of any of these people that's justifying any of this, right?
Not anymore. Yeah, you
Like,
don't got it anymore.
do you know what I mean? Like for everyone who's like, they're like The Rock, makes all this money at the box office, but it's like only because people exclusively like when it's like the Kevin Hart rule. Kevin Hart's only been in blockbusters or whatever. It's like, but I've seen him in so many movies. Like they're just not Kevin Hart movies if they're not successful somehow. Like he has like the best
Yeah.
agent. We've talked about this before, right? Like how do you know if it's a Kevin Hart movie? Did it make a bunch of money? Then it's a Kevin Hart movie. If it's not, then Kevin Hart was just doing
Yeah.
someone a favor
Yeah.
or something, right?
Yeah. So Borderlands the movie, not
That
a
wasn't
Kevin Hart
That was
movie.
not Kevin Hart. Was he in that? You know what I mean? You could, but like
Yeah.
I know he was, but you know what I mean? Like
Central Intelligence, Kevin Hart movie.
Kevin Hart movie, right? Because it did well,
With
right?
The Rock.
Yeah, with The Rock. I saw
Jumanji, Kevin Hart movie.
Kevin Hart
Jumanji
movie.
2, Kevin Hart
Kevin
movie.
Hart movie. Yeah, right. But like, I don't know. Die Hart, his Roku special, I'm sure was just like, you know what I mean? Like
Not a
that didn't
Kevin Hart movie.
that lost someone a lot of money. Is that being accounted for somewhere? Like you didn't watch it. No one signed up for Roku. Like he doesn't have the star power to get people to sign up for an app, right? A thing that should be considered when you're BetMGM and you're paying all this money to get people to download an app. I have like specific data points that like people will not sign up for an app because Kevin Hart tells them to, right? So like, and so what is this bringing here except for more money for more people that already have more money? You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm sure it's not BetMGM. I'm sure they give money this time. I think it's FanDuel or something like that. It doesn't matter. Again,
Yeah, it's
I'm not
it's
coming- it's not-
FanDuel. Bet MGM is like, I was
here's
like,
the
that's
thing.
such
I
a
think
weird
Kevin Hart can
reference.
take it. You know what I mean?
I know which promotion
Not
you're
like
talking
not
about
like
too.
Tom Cruise or whatever I said about him.
Tom
Did I
Cruise.
tell Tom Cruise to kill himself? I guess I stand by that.
I guess I stand by it. Listeners,
Right, he is the head of a cult, though, kind of. Right? That is true?
yeah, Scientology.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
He's
Then,
the
like,
incarnation of L. Ron Hubbard, the guy who made up a religion about
it
space
is
aliens, souls
kind
that
of
went into. Although though they keep discovering stuff in Egypt, and you're like, wait a minute. Just kidding.
yeah, it is kind of nutty though that like how much like that like South Park episode like
It's like
brought
exactly
all
that.
that up. Like yeah, like I think that like everyone that had to be the moment when like most people were like say what, because now like I think that's more fashionable. Like I don't know how old
People
is that?
didn't
I don't
really
even-
understand Mormons until they did the Mormon episode.
More man. Let me tell you. So there's I'm in season 3 of Hell on Wheels, and there's this Mormon. No, I won't talk about it, Mike. I don't have to watch it anymore because I'm at my parents' house and they have Netflix, which is one of the things I was
Thank
going to say
God.
when you brought Netflix up. I was like, yeah, I'm just like the detritus of like film. Like there's just but like and of course they have some great films, but every like great film they have is like been on there forever. Like it's the only thing that like doesn't leave my queue. I don't know. I I have been thinking that maybe I've just watched all the television there is to watch, Mike, which I think might be a problem. I have been working from home
Yeah.
for like 5 years.
Yeah, and I think that it's twofold for me. I think I've just watched enough good movies and bad movies in my life to be able to call what's a good and bad movie. And like I've done it so many times that I don't second guess myself. So it's like I go in this state of analysis paralysis of just like looking at movie covers and names. And I'm like, that's a shit movie. That's a shit movie. This could be interesting. This could be interesting. And then you watch the trailer and they tell everything. And you're like, well,
Well, see,
why would I
that's-
watch it now?
This
Like,
is
I know
why
everything that's
this
going to
is-
happen.
This is why I think that we need to like we need to do some sort of like movie club or something on the podcast. Because then like
Yeah.
if we like want to watch something, we watch it. If we start getting really analytical about it, like that's fine. Then that's just like fodder stuff to think about for the podcast, right?
Totally.
Totally. Well, I tell you what, Mike.
Movie club.
This is the second podcast we recorded this week already. You know what I mean? This is pretty impressive, everyone. It's getting pretty late.
It's been a pretty long week. It's getting pretty late. Let me do a little recap.